100% completing Pokemon Legends Z-A is an absolute marathon through the dazzling streets of Lumiose City. Not only must we make our way through the 42 main story missions, which mainly revolve around battling through the Z-A tournament to save the city, we also need to help out the citizens of Lumiose by completing 119 side missions. We must catch all 231 Pokemon to fill out the Pokedex, unlock all 63 Megastones to complete the Megadex, and then finally the grindiest part, completing Mabel's research to unlock items such as the Master Ball and Shiny Charm. All of this taking roughly 60 hours to complete. Beginning in the eyes of something flying high above Lumiose City, we suddenly come crashing down. Regaining consciousness, the prison tower suddenly erupts with purple energy. A mysterious man then arrives with his black Floette, saying he must find the strongest Mega Evolution user. The purple energy starts spreading throughout the city before we pass out once more. Sometime later, the mysterious creature is watching us arrive at Lumiose City by train, then hitches a ride by jumping into my bag. Hopping off the train, the streets are swarming with people and Pokemon. I'm immediately approached by a girl with 3 Pokemon. Noticing I'm a tourist, she wants my help advertising her hotel, Hotel Z. However, right before we can do anything, an announcement starts blaring over the streets. It's the CEO of a company called Quasartico Inc. Due to the overwhelming amount of Pokemon in Lumiose City, using their patented holotech, they've set up a whole bunch of wild zones where the Pokemon can live peacefully. While we were distracted, a wild Pancham steals my bag and runs away. Chasing it through the streets, turns out it was working for a couple of thieves. They apparently know Tawny from something called the Z-A Royale. They agree to return my bag if we beat them in battle. Tawny lets me choose one of her Pokemon to battle with. Obviously choosing Totodile, we make very light work of Pancham, and the thieves flee in terror. Retrieving my bag, nightfall suddenly hits, and things called battle zones get activated. Zones where anyone inside can battle you on sight, and luckily we were standing right in the middle of one. So needing to escape before we get ambushed by trainers, Tawny tries to lead me to safety, but it's no good as we get spotted. So forced by battle zone law, we quickly win the battle. We make it to the exit, however it's blocked off by more trainers, refusing to let us through. A black Floette then floats down and shoots a laser beam to scare them away. Tawny then leads us to Hotel Z, and inside we meet the mysterious man from the beginning, AZ, owner of Hotel Z. Thankfully my luggage is already here, and we don't notice as a little green Zygarde cell crawls out of it. Turns out the Floette belongs to AZ, and he sent it to rescue us. AZ gives us the key to our room, and I go down for the night. But just before we get to sleep, Tawny decides it's the perfect time to show us the view from the roof, where the Zygarde cell is spying on us. Back inside, AZ is pondering if we are the chosen ones sent to save Lumiose. After a much needed night's rest, Tawny tells us more about the Z-A Royale, a Pokemon tournament to determine the greatest trainers in Lumiose City. Tawny sets up the app on our Rotom phone and convinces me to join her group, Team MZ. They even have jackets. Tawny then teaches us how to roll, since apparently the Pokemon around here might attack me instead of my Pokemon. During our lessons, we accidentally wake up one of the other MZ members. Tawny gives us a couple more lessons on battling, Pokemon centers, and wild zones where we can catch some more Pokemon. And once we've caught 5 different types of Pokemon, Tawny takes us to the nearby research lab, where we can get prizes. Research leader Mabel then recruits me to fulfill her research requests, and in return, she'll keep giving me rewards. As I leave the research centre, I run into another member of Team NZ, Naveen and his partner Scraggy. He gives me a cool hat to complete my outfit. Returning to Hotel Z, we receive our first promotion match. Winner goes from rank Z to rank Y. But to participate in the promotion matches, we must earn something called a challenger's ticket, which we get by beating opponents inside the battle zones at night to earn points. Wasting no time, we head straight for the battle zone. After some helpful tips and tricks from my fellow team members, I easily defeat 3 trainers and gather enough points to earn my first challenger's ticket. And I'm ready for my promotion match against Zach. Meeting him at the taxi rank, our battle commences. Taking out his entire team with just Totodile, I defeat Zach and get promoted to rank Y. A detective named Emma, who was watching our battle, was impressed with my battling skills. Apparently Emma is investigating a missing person Tawny is looking for, but has 0 leads, then runs away. Back at the hotel, we enjoy something called a croissant curry for dinner. Waking up the next morning, turns out my Weedle is ready to evolve. In this game, evolution is done manually. As we head out with Tawny to do some sightseeing, we get cut off by some construction workers, who say that all the scaffolding around the city can be used as a fun obstacle course. And amongst the fun scaffolding are colourful screws that can be collected for prizes. Tawny then shows us mega crystals that are scattered all over Lumiose. We can destroy them to gather mega shards, which we can trade for mega stones later on. She then teaches us how to survive lethal falls. Stumbling across the second wild zone, I quickly duck in to check it out. Catching a few more Pokemon, before meeting up with Tawny at her favourite cafe. While we enjoy our coffees and admire the Prism Tower, some guy called Vinny from Quasartico Inc. rocks up and apologises for all the construction going on. Next, we head towards the detective agency to find Emma. But on the way, we spot a crowd gathering around Wild Zone 3. A group called the Fists of Justice, led by a man named Ivor, are protesting the Wild Zones. And his solution is for everyone to join the Fists of Justice and get super strong, so they don't need to worry about wild Pokemon. As we listen, one of the members randomly picks me out of the crowd for a battle to show off the strength of the Fists of Justice. Sadly for her, she picked the wrong person. Ivor is incredibly impressed with my battle prowess, and the Fists of Justice retreat for now. Arriving at Emma's lab, we catch her in the middle of a nap. Once awake, she wants our help with the detective work, giving us 3 side missions to complete to prove myself before she gives us more. Marked by exclamation points on the map, the side missions involve helping an old lady find her missing ring that was stolen by a Sableye hiding in a cemetery wild zone. Then I help a man take down an Alpha Bunnelby, alphas being bigger and angrier than your average Pokemon. And finally, a lady wants me to go and catch her a Pikachu, trading me a Heracross for it. With all 3 side missions complete, we report back to Emma. Then Emma wants to battle me to test out my strength. She only has 1 Pokemon, Mareep, so the battle is over quickly. However, she was clearly taking it easy on me, because straight after she whips out an Ampharos, and Mega Evolves it. Then tells me to keep an eye out for a black 4-legged Pokemon. All of a sudden, a notification pings on my phone. My next promotion opponent has been decided. So completing a couple more side missions until nightfall hits and the battle zones get activated. It takes me 7 battles to achieve the 3,000 points needed for my challenger's ticket. And I meet up with Yvonne for our promotion match. She's a little tougher than my first opponent, but I take down her Vivillon with my Beedrill and get the win. She's so devastated with the loss, she runs away. And I officially get promoted to rank X. Back at Hotel Z, the Zygarde cell is still watching over me as we celebrate my promotion. In the morning, I bond with my fellow MZ members by battling them for information about themselves. Naveen takes down 5 of my Pokemon before Totodile comes to the rescue and takes down Scraggy. Naveen then reluctantly tells me his life story. And as they leave, I get my next promotion opponent. Realizing that all my promotion opponents' names start with the letter of the rank they are doesn't slow me down, as I decide to go through some of the wild zones to level up my Pokemon. Evolving my Fletchling and my Totodile. Nighttime comes around again and it's time for the battle zone. With 8 wins and a slightly revamped party, I have my ticket for the promotion match, and it's time to meet Jarvie. He proved to be a tough opponent for a little kid, but still no match for my revived Croconaw. And with another promotion, we're closing in on rank A. And as with every promotion, I head back to the hotel to celebrate with croissant curry. The next morning we chat to AZ. We realise Lita has left her bag behind, so I head out to give it to her. I find her practicing her dancing with the Staryu. She thanks me by challenging me to a battle, taking out her entire party with just Croconaw. After the battle, I immediately get my next promotion match. I could skip tonight, but I take the opportunities throughout the day to take care of side missions and explore wild zones to fill up my Pokedex. And as I'm doing side missions, I end up at the research lab, where Mabel has managed to round up the Kanto starters and lets me choose one to join me. So obviously choosing Charmander, he goes straight into my party. Continuing my side missions, the next one gets me a shiny Mareep. Once it hits night again, I head straight for the battle zone. This time it takes me 11 wins to get the 5,000 required points for my next challenger's ticket. Meeting up with Rintaro, who works at a battle restaurant. His Simisage dispatches my underleveled Charmeleon before Heracross comes in to avenge him. Croconaw defeats Simisear, and Quilladin defeats Simipour. Another promotion down, and we are now rank V. Only 21 more promotion matches to go. Exiting the restaurant, we get a call from Emma. She received a tip about the Pokemon she's trying to find, but coincidentally, it's standing right in front of me. So trying not to let Zygarde out of my sights, I chase it through the streets. Zygarde lures me to a building where it grabs me and launches the both of us onto the roof. On top of the roof is an Absol in a lot of pain, surrounded by Mega Energy. Emma and AZ arrive, but without Zygarde, they can't get up. AZ's Lucario delivers me a Mega Ring. Apparently the Absol is suffering from Rogue Mega Evolution, which happens when the Pokemon is exposed to high concentrations of Mega Power. Rogue Mega Pokemon grow huge and have an insane amount of health. Since I don't have a Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, AZ lends me Lucario to use for this battle. We defeat the Rogue Absol, who then drops an Absolite. Back on the ground, Emma fills me in on how wild Pokemon all over Lumiose have been suffering from these bouts of rogue evolution. As we talk, Absol reappears. Absol is so thankful we rescued it that it decides to join our team. Waking up the next morning, a couple new wild zones have been built, which means more Pokemon to catch. But first, Vinny calls and wants to have a chat about these rogue Pokemon. However, Tawny wants to have a quick Mega Evolution battle first. Arriving at the Quasartico building, a couple of security Dedenne won't let us inside without a battle. Vinny then invites us to the battle court out back. He has questions about the rogue Absol that we took care of last night. After hearing we dealt with it, Vinny wants our help dealing with the rest of them that keep popping up. It's also the reason for the creation of the Z2A tournament, to find the strongest Mega Evolution user to protect the city. But going from Z to A is going to take too long, so Vinny decides to fast track our progress. If we beat Vinny in a battle, we will jump from rank V all the way up to rank F. But as much as he is willing to cheat the system for us, he still wants me to grab a challenger's ticket first. 12 wins and 6,000 points later, I've got it. And my Crocodile finally evolves into Feraligatr. Returning to Vinny, it's time to battle for my Mega promotion. Feraligatr makes light work of Houndoom before his Sharpedo finishes him off. I fry him with my Flaffy before Heracross defeats his Baneri. Vinny throws out his final Pokemon, Drampa, which means it's Mega Evolution time. I almost defeat it with Heracross, but Haunter comes in to finish the job. In what was a relatively easy battle, Vinny is defeated, and we jump all the way to rank F. Now it's Tawny's turn for her battle, and she's also victorious. Heading inside the Quasartico building, Vinny wants to tell us everything. Apparently 2 years ago, AZ realised Lumiose was in danger and went to Quasartico for help. They began investigating the Mega Power that was accumulating in Lumiose. But 6 months ago is when the Rogue Mega Evolutions started happening. AZ, Tawny and Quasartico couldn't handle it on their own, which led to the creation of the Z2A tournament and also why Tawny formed Team MZ. As we're about to head back to the hotel, one of the workers at the front desk calls out, offering items in exchange for Mega Shards. Tawny then decides she's hungry, so we go to her favourite cafe for food, where we bump into Naveen, who seems pretty upset. Apparently Naveen is bummed because if we keep flying up the ranks of the tournament, we will have to face his favourite streamer, Canary. Back at Hotel Z, we have a strategy meeting. Intel we've received from Vinny says there is 3 locations around Lumiose where rogue Pokemon are about to Mega Evolve. The 3 of them decide to split up and visit one of the locations each, and I get to go to all 3 to help out. As we're leaving, AZ has a present for me, gifting me a Mega Stone from my Feraligatr. Arriving at the first location, I team up with Tawny to take down a rogue Mega Snowbro. Then I help Naveen take down Mega Victreebel and help Lita take down a Mega Camrupt. Each time with Zygarde keeping a close eye on me. As I return to Hotel Z, Zygarde cuts me off, challenging me to a battle. I defeat Zygarde and it thanks me for the battle by giving me a pebble. A strange old man who calls himself El then reveals himself. He tries to warn me about all the Mega Power emerging all over Lumiose. And apparently Zygarde has chosen me to help it defend the city. So now I must prove myself worthy. El then threatens AZ before leaving. Heading inside, Team MZ bicker for a bit before I receive my next promotion match. It turns out it's Canary. And Naveen gets triggered. Naveen refuses to help us locate her unless we beat him in battle. So meeting Naveen outside, his Scraggy holds its own for a bit, but the numbers game wins out and Naveen is defeated. So he reluctantly agrees to help us. Naveen gives us the inside information on an exclusive fan quiz contest where the winner gets to ask Canary a favour. So planning to win the quiz and use our favour to ask for a promotion match, first things first, I need to get a challenger's ticket. But since it's still the middle of the day, that means more side quests are calling my name, most of which are just straight up Pokemon battles. Entering the battle zone, since I've skipped to rank F, I now need 32,000 points to get my challenger's ticket. So I make sure to take advantage of the challenge cards that give us bonus points towards our ticket. After 11 wins and only 23,000 points, the sun comes up and the battle zones deactivate. And since sleep is overrated, I take the time to start completing some of the wild zones by catching every Pokemon in each one. However, some wild zone Pokemon only come out at night, and right now, Battle Zone takes priority. And after another 3 battles, I earn the Challenger's ticket. Returning to the group, it's time to put our plan into action. Heading out to the exclusive Canary Fan Quiz contest, Naveen gives us a quick rundown on how it works. Needing to answer questions about Canary, we chuck in an earpiece so we can hear Naveen giving us the answers. Sadly, Canary doesn't even show up in person. She uses a hologram to run the quiz show, which is going to make having our promotion battle a little bit harder. Breezing through the first couple of rounds, the final round involves a 1v1 to win the chance to answer the final question. Beating Canary's #1 fan and correctly answering the final question, I ask for my favour. She agrees and gives us a location to meet for battle. Arriving at the meeting place, the old construction manager says he was watching me in the contest and will reveal all if we beat him in battle. Beating his first 2 Pokemon with Feraligatr, his Excadrill comes in and drops my team like flies. Luckily, I revived Feraligatr, who comes back in for vengeance. The old man reveals himself to be Canary's grandpa, and admits he was the one using the Canary hologram during the quiz contest. Apparently Grandpa catfishes all the fans so Canary can focus on her gaming. It's a little weird, but I've got bigger fish to fry. Grandpa lets us through to see Canary. She's not really keen to battle, but she also doesn't want to get cancelled, so she agrees. Ready to fight, I quickly evolve Charmeleon first. The crowd gathers and the match begins. Specialising in electric types, my party is at a disadvantage, but she only has 4 Pokemon, so I'm confident. Canary then proceeds to beat me 3 times in a row. I'm eventually victorious, and I reach rank E. Canary is onto us and gives me an autographed plushie to give to the person who's been helping me. And then it's croissant curry yet again as we celebrate promotion. The next morning, Vinny calls and lets us know about another 3 locations of potential rogue mega evolution. So the group splits up and heads out. After helping take down Mega Beedrill, Mega Hawlucha, and Mega Banette, Zygarde and L reappear, pretty much saying that Detective Emma is hunting them down and that I still need to prove myself. As we discuss tonight's events back at the hotel, my next promotion opponent is revealed, and it's Ivor from Fist of Justice. So heading out to the battle zone to get the 35,000 points needed for my next challenger ticket. I arrive at Ivor's dojo. However, I need to beat one of his students in battle before I get to him. With Josie defeated, I turn my attention to Ivor. But Ivor is stressing out because his little sister Gwen is missing, and refuses to battle until she is found. Needing all the help we can get, we go and ask Detective Emma for her assistance. We interview a few people in the area Gwen was last seen. After following a few leads, we learn she's close friends with Canary. Racing over to Racine Construction, Gwen is nowhere to be found. But Canary agrees to tell us what she knows if we beat her in a rematch. I beat her quite comfortably this time, and Canary reluctantly tells us what she knows. Something about a Pokemon fountain that Gwen's Chandelure is scared of. Using our detective skills, we deduce that it must be the Clawitzer fountain. With nothing to see at the fountain, Emma believes that we should head into the sewers. So freezing the fountain, we can access the sewers and continue our search. As we venture further in, we reach a padlocked door. Spotting a nearby Klefki, we chase it down and capture it. However, none of the keys fit. The Ivor decides to punch the lock off instead, before sprinting off. So now chasing after Ivor, we spot Gwyn's chandelier. The chandelier lures us into a dead end. We inspect the room for clues, but we find nothing. Ivor's had enough and decides to just punch his way through the wall. We discover that the wall is actually an illusion, and we can walk straight through, where we spot the chandelier again. Following it deeper into the sewers, we eventually find Gwyn. Using my detective skills once more, I deduce that there isn't a culprit, but Gwyn won't reveal the truth until we beat her in battle. My Mega Absol takes down her Mega Chandelier to secure the victory. Gwyn then admits she went into hiding so Ivor wouldn't compete in the tournament because she's sick of dealing with him. But she agrees to return so me and Ivor can have our match. Since he specialises in fighting type Pokemon, my Charizard does most of the heavy lifting. Until the Mega comes along, then it's for Alligator's time to shine. With Ivor defeated, I'm promoted to rank D. As we celebrate, it's incredibly clear now that all they know how to cook is croissant curry, and I'm not surprised Naveen is sick of it. After a good night's sleep, we wake up to find out we have yet another problem. Tawny has borrowed money off some scary group called the Rust Syndicate, and they just happened to give me a call. They would like us to meet up with them to discuss Tawny's debt. Once at the Rust HQ, there's 2 security guards out front who refuse to let us in. Unless, of course, we beat them in battle. Which we do. However, we still aren't allowed inside as someone called Philip comes out calling us rude and wants to destroy us in battle as payback. Philip and his Steel-type Pokemon are no match either as Charizard carries once again. Finally allowed inside, we come face to face with the Rust leader, Mr. Corbo. Inviting us to take a seat on the couches, Philip fills us in. Apparently Tawny accepted a loan of $100,000 so she could make videos to get more customers to the hotel. And due to its incredibly high interest, Tawny now owes them over $1 million. Corbo eventually softens his stance and agrees to keep the repayment from Tawny at $100,000. But in return, we must help him with little jobs here and there around Lumios. Corbo says if we don't accept, he'll show up to the hotel and have a big Pokemon showdown. Which, if I'm being honest, sounds like a much better option. So I try to refuse the offer, but Leader doesn't let me. Returning to base to have another strategy meeting, look who finally shows up. Before we can discuss further, Vinny calls us with more rogue Pokemon. This time firstly, we take down a rogue Mawile. Then after we beat a rogue Barbacool, Zygarde reappears, and the mysterious L shows himself again, telling us the mega power spilling all over Lumios started at the same time the Quasartico started the construction works. And L believes Zygarde is using him as a tool to save Lumios. L leaves and we move on to the next Mega, a rogue Mega Ampharos. Once all 3 are dealt with, Detective Emma pops up out of nowhere, literally just to say she's still looking for Zygarde and runs off. After taking care of all the rogue Pokemon, Corbo finally calls with his first job for us. We need to go and take care of some local troublemakers. Turns out the troublemakers are a bunch of ghost Pokemon, who have taken over some guy's home. After taking care of all the Gengar and Ghastly, Corbo arrives to check in on us. And since we did such a good job, he immediately gives us our next task. I evolve Riolu before meeting up with the Rust member, who wants me to clear out the sewers of Mega Crystals. After another successful job, Corbo is back and tells me all about this L person, also known as Lysandre, a former friend of Corbo. He then gives us our next job. which is to take care of a couple outsiders who are annoying all the local kids on Rust turf. Humiliating the outsiders in battle, Corbo rocks up to give them a piece of his mind. And they run off crying. Overhearing a nearby commotion, we find Tawny and the CEO of Quasartico being hounded by a group of concerned citizens, worried about all the rogue Pokemon appearing in Lumiose and blaming Quasartico. The leader of the group gets a bit aggressive, so Tawny and Jet flee to safety, leaving me and Corbo to deal with him. Defeating him in battle seems to completely calm him down, and they all retreat for now. Corbo then confronts Jet himself. However, Jet claims that living together with Pokemon without wild zones isn't possible. I head back to the hotel when I immediately get a call from Corbo. He wants to meet, which is annoying because I was literally just with him. So back at Rust HQ, happy with my work, Corbo clears the interest of Tawny's debt. But he has another reason for summoning me. He wants to have a proper battle. Then literally straight after he says that, we get assigned as each other's next promotion match. Seems sus, but I'll allow it. But now since it's an official promotion match, I require a challenger's ticket. So completing side missions until nightfall. Once the battle zone opens, I need 38,000 points for my ticket, which takes me 12 wins with the help of bonus cards. So heading straight back to Rust HQ, Corbo is waiting. He has a variety of powerful Pokemon to battle with, especially his Gyarados, who wipes out half my team. Then he whips out his Mega Scolipede, but I don't even need to use Mega Evolution to take it down, earning the victory and the promotion. Now only 2 promotion matches left until we hit rank A. Corbo then offers me a spot in the Rust Syndicate, but I decide to stay loyal to Team MZ. Another croissant curry later, Corbo rocks up to Hotel Z. Turns out he wants to book a room. The next day, Corbo comes out flexing all his money, giving Tawny a suspiciously generous tip. Philip comes in to pick up Corbo. Noticing Tawny, he asks if she's got the money to pay back the loan, which she has all of a sudden. So with Rust off our backs for now, AZ gives Lita and Naveen some Mega Rings, so now they can too Mega Evolve their Pokemon to help us in our cause. Then apparently they both want to battle me. Meeting at the battle court, I battle Lita first, who doesn't even have a Pokemon that she can Mega Evolve. Once she's dealt with, I take on Naveen and his Mega Scrafty. After a couple hard fought battles, we grab some lunch, before a mystery girl interrupts us. Someone named Laban, here on behalf of the Society of Battle Connoisseurs. And her leader, Lady Jacinth, wants us to attend her next gathering. Entering the luxury hotel, we sit and wait for Lady Jacinth to arrive. And when she does, she reveals that we've all been invited here for a tournament. But as the tournament is about to start, Vinny informs us of some more rogue Pokemon, so we must leave. On our way out, Laban threatens us to stay and compete. But we have more important matters to attend to and leave anyway. As we are having our strategy meeting back at our hotel, we get a surprise visitor. Jacinth is here to make good on her threats. Turns out Jacinth has put the tournament on hold until we come back to participate, potentially keeping all the other participants hostage. But we must take down the rogue Pokemon first, with Jacinth spying on us using her own holotech. Before I can take down the next rogue, nightfall hits, and I get distracted by the battle zone to start getting points towards my next challenger's ticket. After raking in half the points needed, I refocus and take on the next rogue Mega, Altaria. With Jacinth hot on my heels, I quickly go and take down the final rogue, Mega Venusaur. With all three taken care of, we go back to Hotel Z, where we get cornered and trapped by Jacinth. And she refuses to free us until we beat her crew in battle. Once the three of them have been dealt with, we get our next promotion match, and you'd never guess who it is. So now we have no choice but to battle Jacinth. Heading back to her fancy hotel, she won't let me straight up battle her in a 1v1. I must go through her tournament first. First up, a rematch with Canary. Then I battle Ivor, who doesn't even come close. And finally, a rematch with Corbeau. As I'm finally about to face Jacinth, Zygarde sprints in and interrupts, along with Elle. The grandpa recognizes him as the old leader of Team Flare. They are here because Zygarde wants to battle me to test my strength. Jacinth is all for it, so Zygarde gets its wish. Zygarde then transforms into its 50% form for the fight. After winning the battle, Zygarde is pleased and runs off. Elle leaves to continue finding Zygarde cells so it can reach complete form. With that minor distraction out of the way, our battle with Jacinth begins. She utilizes a mixture of fairy type Pokemon, finishing off her Mega Clefable with Gengar. I win her tournament and get promoted to rank B. Everyone celebrates my victory, and I think we all know what comes next. The next day, AZ can sense the power flowing from Prism Tower getting worse, but we can't put a stop to it yet without the strongest Mega Evolution user, since only they can handle Mega Floette. We get a message from Vinny asking to meet up, so heading over right away, Jet wanted to thank us properly for saving her the other day, before giving us a backstory to the reasoning behind the Wild Zones. After the incident 5 years ago, the mayor wanted a company to take on the redevelopment plans, so Quasartico accepted. The idea to create a city where people and Pokemon can coexist. But when they went to renovate the Prism Tower, they found out it was producing Mega Energy, which was drawing wild Pokemon into the city, then causing them to rogue Mega Evolve. So we must find a way to stop this from happening to save Lumios. As we go to leave, Vinny returns with info on more Pokemon about to go rogue. So after another quick strategy meeting, we take down Mega Dragonite and Mega Tyranitar. When we go to battle the third Mega, the Rust Syndicate are here. They found out about the rogue Pokemon and are trying to help. Philip then for some reason challenges me to a battle to see who should take down the Mega. I mean, we could just work together, but whatever. After destroying Philip in battle once again, he decides to leave the rogue Mega to us, but not before giving Lita a Water Stone so she can evolve her Staryu into Starmie, so we can have a Starmie v Starmie Mega fight. Once Starmie is defeated, I check out some new Wild Zones before returning to the hotel. Tawny confronts AZ about deciding who the strongest Mega user is, and apparently it's up to Floette to decide who will be strong enough to handle its power. Tawny gets salty when Naveen suggests me. But before we start fighting, I get my final promotion match against someone called Grisham, who doesn't even have a profile picture. So not knowing how to find my opponent, we go to Detective Emma to help us track them down. Apparently this information will put us in danger, but reaching rank A is more important than my life. Emma then proposes a battle. If I win, she will give me the information. After defeating Emma, she starts telling us about Team Flare and their leader Lysandre, the mysterious man who disappeared 5 years ago but now has returned as Elle. Apparently Grisham used to be a young trainer of Team Flare. Emma then redirects us to Mabel at the research lab, saying she might know more. Emma was right, as apparently Mabel used to be a part of Team Flare. When everything went down with Team Flare, Mabel got taken into custody, but took a plea deal to work in the research lab. Mabel doesn't know much about what Grisham is up to and tells us to head to the Nouveau Cafe. So quickly arriving, turns out the guy working at the cafe is the Grisham we've been looking for, and he's also boss of the new Team Flare Nouveau. We meet at an old abandoned building, formerly known as the Lysandre Cafe, the old Team Flare hangout, but now home base for the new Team Flare Nouveau. His partner Griselle gets heated, and it sounds like she wants to kill me. So now I have to battle Griselle first. After beating her, Griselle seems to have calmed down. Heading inside the building, Grisham tells us everything. Team Flare was first created as a place for people to come together and help each other. However, Team Flare leader Lysandre grew disillusioned with humanity and sought to reduce the number of people in the world. And to do that, Lysandre chose to use some sort of ultimate weapon, nearly burning the Kalos region to ash. It turns out AZ created this ultimate weapon, and Grisham blames AZ for Lysandre's downfall. Grisham then opens a secret door into the Lysandre labs. Entering the abandoned laboratory, apparently Grisham and Griselle have left me to figure my way around myself. Navigating my way through the maze, battling through plenty of alpha Pokemon, I reach the lab's data center, going through all the files to learn the truth. 3,000 years ago, a device was created that could restore life to Pokemon that had perished. And 5 years ago, Team Flare uncovered the weapon, and they believe AZ has the key to operate it since he was the one who created it. However, to restore life to a Pokemon, it must take the life of another. Team Flare then got the idea to power the machine using the life of a legendary Pokemon. The two legendary Pokemon of the Kalos region, Yveltal and Xerneas, one with the power to grant life, and one with the power to steal it. And Lysandre thought the best way forward was to reduce the population to create a more beautiful future. Zygarde then pops up, along with L, saying that AZ created this device 3,000 years ago, and then only 1,000 years ago, he made a device that lies within the Prism Tower. L apparently doesn't remember much of his past. However, he does remember speaking to AZ 5 years ago, who was locked up at the time. L learnt about the weapon and device, wanting to use both, but couldn't use the device without AZ's Floette. So L deciding to just use AZ's weapon caused some sort of explosion, causing him to lose a lot of his memories and get buried deep in the earth. Zygarde eventually saved L and everyone else from the weapon, exhausting its power in the process. But after the weapon was used, whatever device is in the Prism Tower was activated. And now soon the tower will enter a frenzied rogue Mega Evolution state, and AZ's Floette is the only thing that can bring it back under control. After learning all this new information, I return to Grisham, who's surprised to hear Lysandre is still alive. He then wants me to steal AZ's Floette and give it to him, believing himself to be the chosen one to keep Prism Tower under control. Grisham then refuses to have our promotion match unless I agree to hand over Floette. Returning to Hotel Z, it's time to get AZ's side of the story. During some kind of war 3,000 years ago, many people and Pokemon lost their lives, including AZ's Floette. So AZ created a device that could grant life. However, after reviving Floette, AZ still wanted revenge, turning his device into the ultimate weapon that can bring destruction to the Earth. Floette, knowing the truth, left AZ to wander alone for 3,000 years, before finding a man of great power who wanted AZ's help to protect Galos. So AZ created a new device called Ange that could share the eternal life given to Floette. However, the tower started emitting mega power all over Lumiose, which AZ thinks is due to the ultimate weapon being used 5 years ago, which awakened Ange. And the only way to stop it is to have the strongest Mega Evolution user Mega Evolve Floette and reach the control panel inside. So now there's only one thing left to do, and after enduring the toughest Battle Zone battle yet, Time to battle Grisham. Coming down to Charizard v Charizard, I emerge victorious. And finally reach rank A. Over another croissant curry, Tawny reveals that she's also now rank A. As we sleep that night, a loud boom wakes us up, and we all run outside to see what's going on. The Prism Tower is now bursting with mega power, and will soon explode, causing every Pokemon in Lumiose to Rogue Mega Evolve. As we're about to head off to save the day, the Zygarde cell that's been spying on me jumps back into my bag. Arriving at Prism Tower, Vinny is here waiting for us. Tawny wants to be the one to use Floette and save the day. So with apparently plenty of time to waste, me and Tawny have another battle to determine who's stronger once and for all. Which turns out to be me quite comfortably. However, Tawny refuses to let me be the one to use Floette. She reckons I should team up with Zygarde and stay out here to protect the people around the city if things get out of control. Tawny then Mega Evolves Floette before they crash their way inside the tower. At the control center, Tawny starts live streaming the whole thing. Floette starts to absorb all the Mega Energy before something goes wrong. Floette can't contain that much energy and the Prism Tower transforms into some sort of Mega Monster. Vinny runs away, so it's up to us to protect everyone. Back on the ground, Tawny calls us to say the Prism Tower is trying to shoot off Floette's Mega moves. Then she says she can see Zygarde on a nearby rooftop, so we should head there next. But before we can, we get cut off by a bunch of rogue Mega Pokemon. The three of us fight them off. As we try to figure out a plan to reach Zygarde, some of the other strong trainers from Lumiose come to help clear a path. So battling our way through the streets filled with Mega Pokemon. And using a little improvisation to get around the debris, I eventually reach Zygarde. Tawny then calls to say the tower is probably going to start attacking me, so that's exciting. But El says we can't fight back yet as he is still missing one more Zygarde cell. Luckily for him, it's been hiding in my jacket. With Zygarde in 100% form, the tower starts to attack us with extra tentacles. So me and Zygarde battle the Prism Tower Tentacle Flowers, which temporarily stuns the tower, allowing us to strike from above using Zygarde. Repeating this process a few more times. Until the Hyper Rogue Ange Floette is finally defeated. Thankfully, Tawny, who was inside the tower this whole time, is still alive. The Ange device then powers up one last time, attempting to use Floette's Light of Ruin to destroy Lumiose. Turns out the pebble Zygarde gave me earlier is actually a Mega Stone. Using it to Mega Evolve Zygarde, we counter Ange's Light of Ruin attack and save Lumiose from certain doom. After the credits roll, we mourn AZ's death, which happened shortly after we defeated Ange. After a well-earned rest, I head into the lobby, where the gang remind me of the wish I get for reaching rank A in the tournament. And as we discuss, Tawny reveals she's found a letter that AZ left for us. He's essentially leaving us in charge of Hotel Z. We leave to go meet Jet and Vinny to get our wishes granted. And when it comes time to choose, turns out there's only one thing we can wish for. And that's apparently to just keep the Z Away tournament going infinitely. So now we need to participate in the Infinite Royale. And after grinding out 50,000 points for a challenger's ticket, we can compete in a rewards match for cool prizes. After earning my first rewards victory, I get a call from Leader, rushing me back to Hotel Z. L is here, and apparently his memory is returning to him. He remembers the existence of two beings, the one that gives and the one that takes. And that's all he gives us before leaving. So trying to figure out more information, I go and speak to Mabel. Apparently some Pokemon around the wild zones are turning into some unusual alphas, and Mabel believes they are linked to Xerneas. So tracking down and defeating the alpha Pokemon in question, Mabel's research suggests that Xerneas is drawing near, and if we don't capture it, then it could be a disaster for Lumiose. So heading out to Wild Zone 11, I battle and capture Xerneas. Next up, I meet with Grisham at the cafe. He also knows about the legendary duo, but wants to meet at Quasartico to discuss things further. We learn about Yveltal, who's flying towards Lumiose. However, Yveltal is way too dangerous, and Vinny doesn't trust me. He wants me to battle Pokemon in a Rogue Mega Evolution Simulator to prove my worth. Once I've proven myself, Yveltal has reached Lumiose. Arriving at the location, I battle and capture Yveltal. And now with Xerneas and Yveltal in my control, I'm kind of now the master of life and death. Returning to Hotel Z, L catches me off guard and challenges me to a battle. Not backing down, L's team is quite formidable. His Pokemon are all much higher level than mine. So after some quick power leveling, this time I beat L. Having watched our battle, Zygarde arrives and wants us to follow it to the tower. Apparently Zygarde wants to battle us one final time. This time needing to get through its 10% form, 50% form, and finally its complete form. After a couple failed attempts, I defeat Zygarde. Who finally deems me worthy enough of being its trainer and allows me to catch him. L gives me the Zygarde cube I can use to switch between its forms. Then vows to spend the next 3,000 years of his life trying to make the world a better place. Now the only main mission left to complete is to keep competing in the Infinite Royale. By collecting 50,000 points for a challenger's ticket and winning the rewards match. Repeating this 15 times, our final victory is against Tawny. Emma then interrupts us, and we rush over to Quasartico HQ. Emma reveals that Jet is actually Tawny's grandma, Everyone is shook. Tawny's mum used to work for Team Flare before apparently getting burnt out and disappearing to some faraway island to rest. Jet decides it's best if she steps down as president, asking Tawny to take over. She agrees and hands Floette over to me to help keep Lumiose safe. With all main missions complete, all that's left now is to capture every Pokemon, collect every Megastone, finish the rest of the side missions, and complete all of Mabel's research tasks. Firstly, I focus on completing every Wild Zone, which helps towards both filling out the Pokédex and completing Mabel's research quests. Once I've captured every Pokemon that can be caught in the wild, it's time to finalise getting all the evolutions, with some Pokemon requiring trades to evolve. And since I have no friends, I rely on strangers through online trading. Thankfully it goes to plan, and I get the remaining Pokemon, and fully complete the main Pokédex. After all this catching and trading and evolving Pokemon, I reach level 49 in Mabel's research and earn myself a Master Ball. Next, I gather enough Rainbow Screws to buy and fully upgrade the Pink Canary plush, which increases the amount of Mega Shards I get from smashing Mega Crystals. So running around Lumiose, gathering up Mega Shards, I buy the final Mega Stones to complete the Mega Dex. So now only two things remain. I must complete another 500 Pokemon battles against other trainers to complete Mabel's research requests. And I need to reach 20 total wins in the Infinite Royale to unlock the final side mission. I defeat Vinny to earn that 20th reward win. Then I must head to Lady Jacint's hotel, where she has set up another tournament. Except this time, it's only me and her. So I must beat her 4 times in a row. Where she then crowns me champion of Le Super Tournée de Jacinthe. And now the final and most painful grind begins, where I must battle another 400 trainers to complete Mabel's research and unlock the shiny charm. So spending the next few days spamming through the battle restaurants on repeat, and sprinting around the battle zones. I hit the 1000 mark and finally 100% Pokemon Legends Z'd away. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and let me know in the comments which games you'd like to see me complete next.